The real question is this, forget about it, all of you guys are very cynical, you're all very mature. But as a nation, we don't seem to see this. Why can't we smell the smell? It stinks, right? The whole thing stinks. You can't smell it. One reason is it works for everybody. So why should you talk about it? The other reason is that there's something in our head. Psychologically, we have a certain attitude which keeps us from looking at the world as it really is, as opposed to the way that we've been told it is. And this is actually in a way very strange, because if you think about it, we distrust our politicians, we hate our bureaucracy, we question the honesty of a judiciary from time to time in private. We can't do it in public, we are afraid of contempt of court, but we do it in private. We have contempt for our inferiors, and this is not a topic I can pick up now, but our treatment of our inferiors in this country is terrible. And we are revolted by the backwardness of our tribal people. Yet, we have our holy cows. Our holy cows are God, family, companies. The third, for some reason, is companies. Strangely enough, it is the opposite. You know, the British had a certain amount of contempt for business. So say when I was born in 1957, at the top of the heap, most respected were the politicians. They had taught us independence. Next to them were Faujis, and with that bureaucrats, secretaries, chief secretaries. At the bottom of the heap were the businessmen. Couldn't even get into the good clubs. Businessmen. Now it's just inverted. I mean, process still going on. I mean, we live in a dynamic society, but basically it's inverting now. What is the truth about companies? And I'm not making a moral judgment here, I'm just talking facts. The world is what it is. Companies are here to make money. They can rip off customers, they can sell dodgy products, they can run tax dodges. The problem is they have a benefit of doubt. We make the opposite assumption about politicians. They can be honest politicians too. We're not here to sell all rip off. That's not all they're here for, but we assume it. Now, the business of business. What is the business of business? It's war. You're warring to make money and take it out of somebody else's pocket. And I'm a big fan of the Baniya, you know, the Marwadi Baniyas. Where did I read this? That out of the 20 top families in India, some 13 are Baniyas. These guys, I mean, it's changed now. The young Baniyas are not like the old Baniyas. But the old Baniyas are wonderful. They never spent any money on themselves. They didn't make money because they wanted to use the money to do anything. Money was a dharma. It was their duty to make money. Like it is Arjun's duty to kill his relatives at Mahabharata. Same way. Dispassionate. It's not personal, aapka dharma hai. Just do it. What you do with the money, you only do two things with it. One, you give it to your children and grandchildren, who in turn will also not spend it. They will also generate more wealth and give it to their children and grandchildren. The other thing is you declare your balance sheet at your weddings. But the age mein truck ke truck ja rahe hain. What is it? So same thing companies do, they declare balance sheets. So they would declare their balance sheet and let the world know that humne itna paisa kamaya. They were like Zen Buddhist warriors or something. They were like those karate characters, you know, who practiced up 18 hours a day. They were just perfect. They did nothing else. They never went anywhere. They sat in their shop from morning to night. You went to them, you asked them for one sari, they'll show you 200 saris, they'll even wear the damn sari for you, you know, and they just do anything to make a sale. They were just impeccable businessmen. Tunnel vision. And I can admire that. But then don't tell me the guy is a god. He's not. He's cutthroat, okay? He's going to have you for breakfast if he can. Companies are footloose warriors roaming the lands. They're seeking loot, innovating and delivering value when they must, and scamming when they can. The method is not the mission. Wars accelerate the development of technology, right? But that doesn't mean war is good for us. The rules of business promote carnage but prevent killing. It's like this. In Rome, you know there were gladiators? The norm was not to kill the gladiator because it takes 2 years to train the guy. If he's going to die in 5 minutes, you can't afford the gladiator. So there was this thumbs down and thumbs up rule. Very rarely you did this. So in business, they don't kill you, but they destroy you financially. They let you live. Which is why if you're bankrupt, it's not a crime. Remember the good old days in England? If you went bankrupt, you went to jail. But if you do that, eventually everybody will end up in jail who doesn't succeed. No? So now, no, it's cool to lose. Laws are created by powerful elites to make the money and screw everyone else. But ultimately, there are no rules. Because if you have enough power, you can get the MPs, you can change the laws, you can make your own rules. Everybody purchases policy, everybody is still purchasing policy. If you refuse to raise the price of diesel by $5 today, who profits? Somebody does, no? Why do you want him to profit? It can be done for cash, it can be done for votes. What is the difference as far as I'm concerned? You're purchasing policy. Then there's this whole Shravan syndrome. You know the guy Shravan, he was carrying his parents around in a tarazu. Was that smart? So eventually somebody came and just shot him. Was that smart? Carrying your parents around? This is our culture. I'm scripted the same way. I take good care of my parents. What it does is it stops you from asking fundamental questions. So you believe the bullshit too. It's a package deal. I'm not suggesting that you treat your parents badly. I'm already a parent. Huh? This is our culture. And then there's the Karan syndrome. Somebody told Karan, you fool, you can see Duryodhana is destroying the bloody kingdom. What's the matter with you? Dump him. He said, he's my friend. I was a Surputra, he gave me honor. He gave me a place by his side, he made me the king or whatever that middle state was. I have to be loyal to him. And he tells Kunti that, you know, you can offer me, I'm elder to Yudhishthir, you can offer me the kingdom. But he's my friend, I would have to give it to him. So please, Mata, go. It's true of all of us. At one level, all of us are really very loyal people. We are loyal to many things, although logically it may not have been a good idea. And that's what takes us to this place where we buy this bullshit. Then there's the fear of the void. You know, there are so many fundamental questions that we are unable to ask ourselves. What's the meaning of life? Why are we here? There are all kinds of answers. I remember when I went to a Jesuit school, who made me? God made me. Why did God make me? God made me to love him. How silly is that? He made me read the New Testament. Now when I think about it, it was so ridiculously childish. I mean, Christianity is not that ridiculously childish a religion. It's just the way it is positioned for me. But there are other answers. If you take the Darwinist answer, that species adapt, and they who adapt well survive, the rest don't. If you buy into this, then where is the occasion for a maker and a God? No occasion. Natural processes determine everything. I'm not a Jain, I don't understand Jainism very well, but I believe in the Jain belief there is no God. The Bodhisattvas are people who achieve a certain state of enlightenment, but in the Buddhist system there is no God. And that's it, then we don't want to think about it. No, it's too much. We want simple constructs, simple things to believe in. Bas mujhe bata do, I'll buy into that. That's it. I don't want to get into it. Can you live with the idea that your only aim in life is to screw and die? So I say that we are hardwired for bullshit.